There's only one thing worse than working on a car that you have absolutely no experience on, but you've learned by just doing and hoping that the mistakes you make aren't anything that's actually gonna catastrophically blow up the engine. There's only one thing worse than jumping into a car build when it's 40 degrees outside in the garage, and that is 10-year-old Plastidip. You've seen me battle with this now for probably 3 episodes, and guess what? We're still battling it out, and we're not anywhere closer to fixing this. So outside of actually just starting it on fire, I think I actually found a breakthrough event.
I need you to come with me.
Okay.
This is really important. We've been having Plastidip problems. I solved it. Please close the door. So I found if you heat it up with some humidity. Look at this, watch. Don't tell my wife either. Look at like how much easier this comes off.
That is like actually coming off better
Yeah!
than anything that it was.
Small problem. I don't know if we just do this in the bathroom or like if we bring it out somewhere, but I did take a shower with this leaning up against that.
I'm sure that was interesting. I feel like since the humidity is now into it, it should be okay to move it. Yes.
You want to get out of the bathroom?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. I mean, I get it.
Starts the camera out of my hands.
Seats, steering wheel, car, and a will to live for most of the time. We're back on the S2000 build, and today, ladies and gentlemen, today's the day we get this gosh darn thing on the road. Now, before I even go any further, if you guys didn't know, we got a In Clapped Car We Trust t-shirt. You wanna go check it out. It's on the website. It's also in the video, link, and all that sort of good stuff, but it would mean a lot. We got this one. We have another one coming for when the car is finished, but all the proceeds of this t-shirt go towards me actually getting the car the car parts it needs. Now, it's wild to think that we're almost to the end, but word on the street is putting aftermarket seats in this car is a little bit of a well, that's okay, because instead of installing it, I can just open up more car parts for you instead and pretend that I don't have to deal with it. Ignoring problems is usually how I get through my Tuesdays.
All right, so we are putting on a new steering wheel. And so I reached out to Scott over at Grip Royal. Scott's an actually awesome dude. Like what he does with Drift Mansion and kind of just like the whole team, he's always been super, super nice. So I reached out to him. I said, I wanted to get a steering wheel for the S2000. I want to get something that was relatively simple, just very, very basic, but still kind of cool. So I ended up going up with this one, and I always say Grip Royal's got like just a cool ass box, and everything about it is very, very nice. But here's the steering wheel. Nothing too fancy, just has Grip Royal. I think it's called like a Brute or something like that. But it comes with all the assembly, which is super awesome. We're gonna get this in the car today, because if we can't get the seats in, because we're still waiting on the sliders, we're gonna get the steering wheel in. But I did ask Scott something very, very specific. I asked him if he could make me a center cap. Now, I'm not a designer at all, so this actually probably doesn't look very good, but I've always really just liked the statement, and I wanted to put it on something that I could see as I'm learning how to drive, I guess. So he's like, yeah, absolutely, I'll send it over. He sent me a bunch of stickers too. And if you guys want a steering wheel, I can't really say anything better than they've been awesome. They're super fantastic. I've ran like Momo, I've ran Sparco, I've ran a whole bunch of different stuff, but in terms of just wanting something that feels good, Alcantara, I think it's a 350, it's gonna be perfect for us. But what I did have him do is I did have him make these, and I don't think you're gonna be able to see it. Let me see if I can get it out of the, again, it's like, it's not super cool. Hold on, let me, there we go. But it's cool to me, and that's kind of what matters. So it's got the Martini Works logo in the back, and then it just says "Go Like Hell." We're gonna get this in the car. I was super happy with this. It was actually a statement that I think I heard in the Ford versus Ferrari movie, that scene where they're testing out the GT40 at, I wanna say it was Daytona, but that scene was actually, that wasn't real. That he never actually said that in real life. But I always like the term of just like go like hell. So I put it in the steering wheel, the center little horn button, and we're gonna get it started. If you guys are wondering what quick release and stuff I'm using, I just picked up an NRG. I know, I keep talking about like the kind of brands I want. I really wanted to get a work spell, but I'm gonna be super transparent with you guys. Number one, it was $470. Number two, there was no ETA on when the tilt up quick release was actually coming in. And so I really wanna get this thing done for Road America test day on April 29th, which means we kind of have to make sacrifices. So I'm not saying that the NRG is bad, it's just, it wasn't my first choice. These ones are like $100-ish. There's the adapter and the quick release. So I'm pretty excited to give it a shot. Hopefully, the last time I actually tried it was like 7 years ago, 8 years ago. The quality wasn't my favorite. So maybe they've made a lot of changes. We're gonna test it out and I'll give you my honest opinion. But let's go watch some Chris Fix videos so I know how to put this thing together.
For a car that was half off, it is giving me twice the problems. I'm still waiting for like the good deal emotion to kick in, but quite honestly, I'm starting to believe that if you're going to start a car build, just start with a stock one. But before we do anything more, I want to show you a car part for a future build that is going to be over on Martini Works. This is a wild one, and we're really excited for this one. And I'm just going to show you the wheels. You can guess the platform in the comments below. Be sure to stay subscribed. Be sure to stay subscribed to AlexMartini, and if you haven't yet, head on over to Martini Works because we're gonna be dropping that series next month.
I wanna show you the wheels that we're putting on it, and then you guys can guess in this episode or in this comment section or over on Martini Works on what you think these are going on. These are stage nights. These are the fronts that we're going with, and yes, we're going with a white wheel, which is a terrible idea for a track wheel, but you know, baller's got a ball and it looks dope, so sue me if you don't like it. But we went with these. I really like it for two main reasons. Number one, it's still full formed, it's still super lightweight, and I love this as a design. Number two, it's got a whole bunch of motorsport tech stuff on it. You can see the bead knurling here. This is to prevent tire slippage. This is something that's not on a whole ton of wheels. And one of my favorite things that I like about it, there's just a ton of really small details. So you stage, night, 18 by 10.5, I actually lied. These are the rears, 15 offset, and it's got all that right there so that when we swap out tires, super easy to see which wheel we're playing with, because a lot of times when you're just looking at the front, it's hard to tell. So you guys can guess as to what these are going on. I'm super excited. Stage Wheels, thanks for coming on board. And if you're looking for these wheels, you can actually go over to Martini Works. We got them right on the website. That's all I got.
These are my status racing seats, and they were my first set ever of truly custom-made seats. I worked with a guy named Justin who spoke few words in email, but delivered on exactly what I had asked for. Kind of like that one quiet friend that's just kind of always there for you. You don't have to check in on them constantly. So I went with the grids, and I got a set that I think are pretty fucking sick.
A long time ago, I asked if Status Racing wanted to come help by giving me a set of seats. Status was one of the few people that was like, hell yeah, let's do something fun with it. I got the grid, the FRP, it's a composite seat. I don't want to go with anything too crazy, but the whole goal is that there at least start to be a little bit of some sort of color scheme getting formed with this. And we're gonna take a look at it together. Oh my God, this is either gonna be awesome or the ugliest thing ever. First things first, yeah, the green is an indication of something that I'm trying to do with the car. You may think it looks ugly, you may hate it, but I need you to trust the process. This I didn't think was actually gonna be bright green, so that's a little bit of a different take. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that, but I did get the Martini Works logo, dead set nuts in the middle. This is the last thing I needed for the S2000 build. This was the very last thing I had to get so we could actually get the car running, because in a week, less than a week, in 6 days, it's gonna head over to Riverside, Chattanooga, where it's gonna be debuted. And I'm hopeful that this whole thing comes together, because if it doesn't, I just added 3 new colors to the rainbow trifecta of what is clapped car right now. More colors. But I did want to be different. I wanted to get a little bit more wild. I wanted to get a little bit more out there. So I figured, why not do something different than just gray? And here's what we got. So without further ado, let's unbox the rest. All right, now the most important part is not the seats. I hate racing harnesses. This is nice. Fits me just right. I hate racing harnesses, but we're not building a street car, we're building a race car, all right? And race cars mean you gotta have harnesses. So we went out, we got the Status Racing harnesses to go with the Status Racing seats. I got everything I need here, and the most important part right here. I don't know if you can see it. It means that they're actually certified. They're good to go for actual use. It's not just a look thing. It actually meets whatever specifications we need for the rule book. And also, and finally, probably the most important, is there's actually an installation guide for this. If you guys have ever installed racing harnesses, I made this mistake a few years ago. I even installed them wrong when I was actually working on my wife's car. She wanted to get some racing harnesses. We put them in. We thought we did it right. We did not. And if you do it wrong, there's just a small potential case of you completely compressing your spine, making you unable to walk. So you don't really want to mess this one up, okay? So let's see if they fit. Let's get the harnesses, let's get everything put together, and let's get this car out for its very first drive.
It's getting uglier before it gets better, kind of like puberty, but it's hitting the S2000 a lot later in its life than it probably should. Am I mean to this car? Yes. Does it deserve it? You be the judge.
You know, before we got started, they told me that we might be able to just wrap over it. And I said, there's no way it can be that hard. It's just 2 pieces. I really f***ing regret doing it this way.
One day, I'd like to share with you guys the whole cost of this car. But the wild part about it all is that even though it makes no sense to do this, it feels so good to finally see it come together from like just a functional perspective. I mean, it's one of my biggest builds to date, and I only want to do this more with you. I'm not a mechanic. I just love driving, talking, and making weird journalistic jokes for car stuff that most people don't get. And stories are rad as hell. But getting this thing done kind of feels awesome.
Let's make sure everything came in for the part that actually connects the seat to the car. Initially, I wasn't super stoked because they didn't tell me that this was gonna take a month to make or 6 weeks to make or something like that, but we got it a little late. But you know, sometimes it's the thought that counts. Cursing this out about 14 seconds ago. Stupid ass setup. I mean, God, I love cars. They're so much fun. They're my favorite. Because why would you write instructions with multiple steps? That would be impossible. Let's just put it in a fucking Pictionary. Got the rails on. Let's tighten these bad boys. I hope this is right. Thank you. Okay, so now that we've got that, we can actually check and see how this fits, and hopefully it's not too shabby. We do still have the hardware in there, but the current status. See what I did there? I'm gonna have to move this very far in, because that's the front. Even though it's so weird that the slider's on like the back. There's no way, it's on the front. I'm just doing this backwards. So it's like this. I think all of it needs to come in as much as it can. But we're going to loosen this up and then we're gonna try it all again. So goddamn annoying. I'd rather make a... I don't even have a joke. I don't have a joke. Let me look at the instructions for the 27th time. Yeah, apparently the nylon side mount spacer is just supposed to gravitate. It's just supposed to kind of float there as you put the bolt in. So, I got good news and bad news. Bad news, there's a way to get it closer together. The bad news, as my greatest fear projected, it requires me to completely start over, all the way from the very beginning. And on top of that, I gotta take it off on both sides because they're mounted together. I f***ing hate this game. I just had to take a small break because otherwise I'm pretty sure I was just gonna light clap car on fire. So we started back at the beginning. Doesn't look like we did, but we definitely did. Moved the slots to the inner, and now we have a much closer tolerance. Oh my God, I forgot the f***ing brackets. See, what? You guys kind of just throwing this shit on? You gotta wait all the way to the end. Be like, oh yeah, are these little teeny tiny, little itsy bitsy bolts. All right, moment of truth. Back at it. Back at it. Look at it. It fits. It fits. Thank the f***ing Lord. Woo! Woo! Yes, it fits. Thank God. You know, honestly, it's pretty good. Everything's nice and tight. Well, for the most part. I'm sure something will need to get disconnected at least twice, but not bad for 7.5 hours after work. The seats fit very snugly, mostly because the S2000 is very, very skinny, but we did it. We got the seats in. We've got 6 days left because between the last time I filmed and now, I've decided I want the car to go to Tennessee for no other reason than because it just kind of seems super dope. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna see what it's like, which means we just gotta get the whole thing wrapped and then maybe some carpet over the back, the hardtop unplastidipified, and hopefully she can make it. But you guys will have to let me know in the comments, do you believe in the green? In Clap Car We Trust. But the thing to remember, it's still ugly on the outside. And if you know me, we don't do purposely ugly. We kind of sometimes do accidentally ugly. That's a whole different problem. But we need to fix that, which means it's time for the next chapter, and we hope you're ready for it. Shit, why is it still leaking?